And I think my microphone is on. Let me just check. Can you hear me? But now you should be able to hear it. So we won't have a repeat of the Resident Evil Zero. Shut up, Mr. Zombie. Pre-roll gameplay. And yes, welcome back, very belatedly, to the Resident Evil Complete Series playthrough. I will finish this series, and we're one game down out of about 12 planned games. So we're getting there. Chances are you're also watching this on YouTube as opposed to Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, this channel now has a connected YouTube channel to archive the Resident Evil games and indeed anything else we end up playing through. So go to YouTube and go YouTube. It's you know the name, capital Y, capital K, capital T, capital N. And on Twitch, it's you_know_the_name_. So whichever one you're watching on, don't stop watching, but go to the other one and click in, join, follow, subscribe, whatever the hell you do on that particular channel that you're watching on. You've got options. And today we're playing, as you've probably guessed from the descriptions and the titles and the thumbnails and the fact that I've told you I'm playing all the Resident Evil games, and we've just finished Resident Evil Zero, a game I actually like, because Zero was a bit crap. It's Resident Evil, the HD remaster of the GameCube remake of the PS1 Director's Cut of the PS1 original. So that's fun. This game is really, really good. And the previous game had a lot of that game in it, just ducking out to get my appropriate beverage. Mystery drink. Yep, this is a damn good game. I would question whether it's a good remake, but we'll come to that as we go.
Resident Evil.
We'll start a new game. Now, I have, unlike in Resident Evil Zero, where I got lost a lot, wide controls. Now, if I remember, controls, alternate and original, only applies to the analog stick. Because one of the genius things about this game is you've got the original tank controls here, which you can't see because of the contrast. That's not helping. That's what a D-pad looks like. This has got the original tank controls, and this has modern non-tank controls, which are basically unusable for anybody who's playing a game with suddenly switching camera angles. So we'll go with both. Having two does kind of balk the difficulty because the game is balanced for tank controls, and when you can just dance out of the way. Do you know what? I've played this game enough, and I'm, a hardcore, Chadley, serious gamer that I think we can go for what sounds like the hardest. What's the word? Not too strenuous. Relax. Okay, yeah. Approved by the RPD. I'm tempted to play as Chris because we'll see Rebecca again. Remember the idiot from Resident Evil Zero? But I think Jill... Again, if anybody happens to be watching at this point and wants to call out a favourite, should I go as Chris or Jill? I'm going to say Jill, just because I think more stuff happens as Jill, because you've got Barry and there's sort of more story seems to happen. Chris, the game seems to just kind of cough you into the game world, throw you the odd cutscene and just leave you to your own devices. So let's go Jill. In her canonically accurate costume, this is my second favourite Jill Valentine costume from Resident Evil. I wonder if you can guess what my first... maybe third favourite, actually. I just remembered the Revelations 1 outfit, which we'll come to see soon-ish. Anyway, shut up, it's Gus.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Somewhere in that forest, Billy the Mullet is still wandering around after abandoning Rebecca yesterday.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people.
This blew me away when I first saw it, this cutscene.
Eaten.
On the original GameCube.
The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate. But
we lost contact. The voice actor,
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict.
Joe White, I believe, just really does nail this monologue. Perfectly cheesy, but also creepy.
Save for the remaining body of Kevin.
Look. Ah, creepy! It took you that long to notice the corpse in the seat next to the one that you were staring at inexplicably.
For the other members.
This is why Joseph doesn't survive very long.
Turned into a
nightmare. That's an actor having fun right there. Love him. Should have played as Chris. Yeah, seeing this for the game on the GameCube for the first time, having come directly from the N64, where the only pre-rendered cutscenes that were even possible were in Resident Evil 2, ironically, with heavy compression in a cartridge so big it literally weighed more to hold than any other cartridge because it was like 512 megs, which is double the capacity of anything else in the N64, I think. So going to a disc-based system that could show me this was like, whoa! Joseph. I never noticed this before, but in the helicopter he's looking at one seat and then he's startled by the corpse there, and the dog just came from his right. So maybe Joseph Frost has a Zoolander thing going on where he just can't look to one side. And it didn't end well for him. There's Jill, one of gaming's premier strong female characters. Do you want to play a fun game? Which has always struck me about this game with Jill as our strong female character. Number 1. Times she falls on her ass uselessly in Resident Evil 1. It is not the last. I can think of 3, I might have forgotten one. I'm just talking over this cutscene and it really is good.
Hey, Brad! Where the hell's he going?
Plus, you would have thought this would be relatively easy for a live-action movie to replicate, but 6 attempts later. Nope. Can't say I'm overly optimistic for the new woke reboot that's coming at some point.
Damn it! Make for that mansion!
I actually just saw a few days ago some incredibly talented hobbyist online recreated the mansion lobby and exterior grounds in Unreal 4, I believe. And one of the first things you see when you're out in the forest is a big stone gate.
There are only
which
3 stars members left.
Was never in this game. They just run straight up to the front door. But it never occurred to me that, yeah, it's weird they don't see any kind of fence or gate around this estate. This top secret, high security estate doesn't even have like a picket fence.
What is this place?
Classic Umbrella.
Not quite your ordinary house, that's for sure.
Hey, Whisker, where's Chris?
Jill, no.
Don't open the...
Oh,
okay. Nerfed.
But we've got to find...
What was that?
A lot of classic RE lines in this game are a bit nerfed.
No.
You'll know when we get there.
Jill,
this is why we brought Barry along.
I'm going with her.
Chris is our old partner, you know.
Back a long way.
Nerfed.
All right. You two go. I'll secure this area.
I probably would have played the original Resident Evil, but it's not currently available on PlayStation 4 or upwards, so... We'll just have to enjoy these lovely HD-ish graphics. I think the assets have sort of HD'd up nicely, but the backgrounds haven't always upscaled, so there are a few instances where the 3D objects and the 2D objects don't really mesh. But it actually quite works that this game was never patched for... Sorry. Oh, the controls are back the way they should be. Run is run and look is look and inventory is inventory, not like Resident Evil 0 that flipped everything around and confused the crap out of me. And that's aim fire. Yep, I'm back in the game. Doing my little Jill Valentine dance. Investigating nothing. This just feels right.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
I probably know this mansion about as well as my own house, so if I get lost in this playthrough, you may all mock me derisively.
Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this.
What's left to examine, Barry, after you've just tasted it? It's a weird thing. He goes up some blood, he's like, probably blood. I'm going to keep examining it. I can't shake the feeling that as soon as I go through this door, he's just going to stick his face in that and go to town. Yeah. Alright, Barry, you get your jam. Jill knows him well enough to just turn her back on it and Oh, I'm just putting it off at this point. Let us see possibly the most classic moment in horror video gaming. Bam! What's the betting that the new movie is going to try and replicate this scene but do it very badly? Also, don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the head that falls to the floor with the blood in it's a white guy, but then in the game it's a black guy. Well, I could waste bullets on you, Mr. Zombie, but our strong female character's far too smart for that, and hasn't got any bullets. So far, her arse has been landed hard on once.
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Stay on your feet, girl, come on.
Let me take care of it.
It's the only zombie in the game that takes 3 magnum bullets to kill.
What the hell is this thing?
Seriously, I mean, that was a
Kenneth
serious zombie.
Killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
Can we examine the zombie? Examine the blood? Bloodstains on the floor. Well, it could be this guy. He's fine. He's not coming back. Come on, Barry. Let's go report to Wesker, who is not listening to all the gunshots. Yes. That's a great moment. There are dozens of like little great moments in this game like that. It's a horror classic for a reason.
Wesker!
Not Wesker. He's a stand-up guy. We love him.
Help me look for him. Let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
You got it, Barry. Let's look for Wesker. See, I bet he's hiding behind this pillar. No, he's not behind the pillar, Barry. Is he outside? Okay, we can't search outside until we've searched here. Let's check in this pot. He's not hiding in the Chinese urn. I bet I know where I would hide if I was Wesker, but I can't hide there, so I can't. But even Jill's disappeared. Where's she gone? Hey Barry, where's Jill? Snipe. No, I'm just kidding, Barry. Just trying to lighten the mood. Oh no, this looks promising. Now Wesker has our best interests at heart, so I'm sure he wouldn't like run off and abandon us. Yeah, can't search that way until we've searched nothing. Yeah, I couldn't find him, Barry. He wasn't behind any of the pillars or in any of the pots.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
The dialogue has
we
been
can do.
improved from the classic original, but it
I'll
still isn't
investigate the dining room again.
right.
Okay then, I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh, I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Is she the master of lockpicking or anything along those
Thanks.
lines?
I may need it.
Listen,
Nerfed.
if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
Yes, we're tactically all splitting up and going off alone in different directions. Stars. They're good. Yeah, so I was saying before, characters behave a bit less over the top in how stupid they are, and say things that are clearly written in English language first and foremost, but it still comes across as weird. Like Barry drinking the blood, or our teammates are missing, let's all split up and go in different directions. Do we recognise this painting? I forget what it's called, but it was also seen in Resident Evil 0, and at the time I mentioned about how it's in multiple Resident Evil games. In fact, they've got 2 copies. There's one down here. So it'll be popping up again. If anyone watching can put in the comments what it is. It's got a German name, I forget what it is. Ooh, sticky. This is another really... Yeah, I know. You get a little re-roll whenever you find one of those. So if something attacks you, and you've got a consumable defense item, as I think we're about to find out. Brilliant. How it got over the dresser is another issue. Oh, number 2. Jill fell on her ass again. Both cheeks bruised. Now, can I abuse the control? Oh, I can't. Okay. What I was thinking of doing was abusing the new controls, which is surprisingly easy to do. The zombie, despite the fact he came this way, can't get over this. Because normally the controls are run like that, turn around, tank controls. Or I can use the new controls to just run around wherever I want with much more fluidity. However, this sucks because, you know, as soon as you do something like this and the camera changes, up becomes up and down becomes down, and you just can't. So what I did there was run up to the zombie intending to push up on the stick to run back away from him. But then the camera changed, so up on the stick became towards him. Yeah, I see you. And yes, I would like my knife back, but you can bloody well stay there. So there you go. Clipping through the art. Well, sod you then. So, nice bit of game design. We didn't get very far, but we were actually tutorialized in defense items, so that's good. We'll follow Barry, who, despite the fact he went off on his own and is presumably doing a Resident Evil somewhere in the mansion, you never hear a gunshot, come across any bodies, or see any evidence of him existing at all. Which, yeah, it would be nice if they'd sort of had a bit more presence from side characters, but then they are remaking a PS1 game that didn't really have the resources for this sort of thing, so I'll overlook it this time. There's been rumblings of this game being remade along the lines of Resident Evil 2 remake, but there's only so many times you can make Resident Evil 1, there just are. Did you? Kenneth, we hardly knew you. If it wasn't for Joseph, the black guy would have died first. I mean, maybe he did, and... Oh, right, the zombies that go in the other hallway. Got no time for you, zomb. I mean, as I said at the beginning of this video, probably will end up putting in the title or the description. How many versions are there of this? This is the HD remaster of the GameCube remake of the director's cut of the PS1 original. There's also been Saturn versions, DS versions, and PC versions that are all slightly different. There's been multiple versions of the remake. There comes a time when it's like, do you know what? This game looks gorgeous. I mean, it's an upscale GameCube game and it looks this good. Come on, this is just brilliant. And there's dated elements about it, but... And there's a lot of design choices for the remake which I think could make it a worse game than the original in some respects. I'd say it's a superior game overall, but as a remake, it's like... Remakes should use technology to improve upon the fallbacks of the... We shouldn't be having door opening animations. They should be gone. Or at the very least, skippable. Tickly toes, wee, tickle, 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 tickle. So it's a bit too stuck in the past. Which is ironic, because I'd say the Resident Evil 2 remake got rid of too much of the original. There's a sweet spot there. And as I complained... Fuck off. As I complained about with Resident Evil 0, they've added a lot of faff to this one, which I don't think is necessary. There's a really bad point later in the game that I'll highlight when we get there, which is just lots of pointless faff that offers absolutely nothing. And there's a lot more fannying about doing pointless things, like the burning of corpses, which I just never bother with in this game. Yeah, the Crimson Heads add a different element. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, if you kill a zombie in this game, any zombie, it doesn't stay dead, not just because it's a zombie. Knife. But basically its corpse will stay there, and at some point later it will come back to life as a super powerful Crimson Head, which is like a super zombie that can run and has claws and does more damage and is... Storyline-wise, I think it's the interim point between zombie and liquor. No. Which is a good element. The only way you can stop that is if you burn the corpse, which means you need to find a gas can, which has actual gas in it, find a fuel container, which contains 2 doses of gas, have a lighter in your inventory, which if you're playing as Jill is something you're going to have to put in your main limited inventory space. Chris just carries it in his pocket. And with that, you can burn 2 zombie corpses before you need to go back to... Bloody hell's he gone? To a gas can, which themselves have limited fuel. It's just a lot of steps and a lot of work to just kill zombies. I generally just do the Resident Evil thing of avoiding killing them where possible to save ammo. And never burning anything I do kill, just deal with the Crimson Head when it appears. Again, it's just, there's a lot of faffing about. the death masks and the wind crest are all just a lot of work now, and it dilutes the experience, I find, because when you're on the inventory screen or when you're managing items, it's not scary. There's no action. There's no exploration. It's just like, ah, only got me from behind, so I can't use the knife. It's just that was scary. So you're never going to jump on the inventory screen. You're just like click, click, use, examine, twist around, turn around. So yeah, when games like RE4 just did away with all that and kind of cut out the pulp and just had the juice, I enjoyed that a lot more. RE4 was my favourite game. I'm very much looking forward to getting back to that one. But this might be my second favourite, just because it's such classic Resident Evil-age. I was so excited for this when it was first shown at, I think, Nintendo Space World, like 2002 or something, and they were like, yeah, we're remaking Resident Evil 1 for the GameCube, and everybody went, oh, another remake? Even back then, people kind of went, remaking Resident Evil 1 again, and then they just showed it, and it's like, whoa, that's the new console? 4 masks. A mask that smells no evil. Insert fart joke there. See, not only did they have this guy sealed up with a mechanism that can only be opened with 4 masks, they actually had like a printed, published book just with the solution to the puzzle made, just to put in front of the mask, just so people know, oh, for fuck's sake. Fixed camera angles, as always, can go fuck themselves. I am not a classicist when it comes to Resident Evil. Fixed camera angles, get out of here. Tank controls, get out of here. Door opening animations, get the hell out of here. While they do give a lot of atmos, and I do love the look, the gameplay downside is not worth it, in my opinion. It's just not worth it. Over the shoulder's fine. I enjoy the first-person ones. RE7 and 8 in first-person are good games. I'm kind of glad they're over, but I'm glad we went there. Oh, it's okay, Jill. We've got the sword key now. We can go this way. Jill's ass, for the record, now has 2 bruises on it. There's 2. She's fallen on her ass in shock twice. How many bruises will there be on Jill's ass in total? Something's telling me I should have used it on the far side of the mansion. See, where we're playing as Chris, this is another annoying thing from the original game that this remake shouldn't have kept, but did, is that Jill has more inventory space than Chris, and I think just, no, inventory management is not fun. That was a reference to what's often cited as the original jump scare in horror video games, because when we played it, the original, at this point in the game, a famous dog scare would happen where one of the dogs from the intro would smash through the window, scaring the bejesus out of the player. Although if you play that Resident Evil 1 now, it's not like a it's more just like a it's very low effort. But back in the day, it scared the crap out of people, and the thought of a video game being like a horror video game. Yeah, there've been other horror games before it, but this really is the one that defined it. And in this game, they cunningly toy with you at that bit. Shrek, you're still alive! How are you doing? Kitty with shades on to you too. Yes, we're still playing Resident Evil. We'll get there. Eating spaghetti. Oh, that's good eats. That's good eats. Is that spaghetti bolognese or spaghetti with sauce? Oh, you should tell me. I'm going to get hungry. You get your spaghetti, my big green pal. Join us some Resident Evil goodness. I was just telling everybody watching, which I guess is you, and I'm now on YouTube, so with anything you can find and chili spaghetti, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. I haven't spaghetti in freaking ages. I don't know if you just saw, we went past the corridor with the famous dog scare, and I was just playing my tour guide role of informing the public of the historical significance of the Bath of Dirty Water, of the original dog scare. Well, it's fine, because as I was saying, in the original Resident Evil, you go up the famous corridor and the dog comes crashing through the window, and suddenly the world was introduced to the concept of jump scares and horror in video games. Oh, three. Jill has now responded to Crisis and Shock, our strong female protagonist, by falling flat uselessly on her ass 3 times. Brilliant. See, people have got stories. Your girlfriend was scared by the dog scare. Everybody, it's like one of those historically significant moments. Everybody remembers their first time. So yeah, Jill was praised as being like a badass female character, which I still don't see when I see Jill. But so far, she's fallen her ass 3 times and puked, which I think makes her more relatable than a lot of today's action chicks. But yeah, I remember my first dog scare because I played Resident Evil 1 at my friend's house at school when I was would have been 98 because I didn't play it until because I never had a PS1, but he had a PS1, which is why I was at his house. I had an N64 because we were a Nintendo family. And then Resident Evil 2 was coming to the N64, and I was like, oh, I hope the first one comes so I know what the hell's going on. And it never did. But he let me play the whole game after school in increments at his house, and he never told me where the jump scares were. So it was round about when the dog scare first happened. Haha! You can really cheat in the HD version of this game because the controls have been much smoother. He didn't tell me about the dog scare, and that was when I first thought, oh shit, maybe this game's a bit too scary for me. But I persevered, and now I get to read in a low-resolution cupboard, so everything works out fine. See, this is what I was explaining before. Everyone has, I mean, it's such a historically significant game. And this is what was added for the remake, the incineration of zombies and making Crimson Head. It's just a lot of needless faff. It's nowhere near as bad as RE0 was. That was just faff to the future. But this is like, yeah, I could fill the fuel canteen with fuel and then find the lighter and then find the lighter fuel and combine the lighter fuel with the lighter and then carry both around in order to burn 2 zombies. Or I could just kill the zombies, deal with the Crimson Heads as and when, and sod it. Just who's got time for this? Now, I can't remember what I have to do. There's the shotgun later, but without spoiling anything, it's possible to die when getting the shotgun. But as Jill, it's possible to not die while getting the shotgun. I can't remember precisely what I have to do to not die. So I'm going to play it carefully and do the safe method. Oh boy, see ya. That's controls you couldn't do on the original game with the tank controls, but with the new advanced controls, you can just kind of go to the zombie, zip around, and yeah, they just won't see you. Oh, all right, let's actually kill something. Oh. Yeah, pro strats, bitch. I'm only doing this because why is that door bumping? Ah. Is he even dead, or is he... Okay, so he will come back as the Crimson Head at some point. In Resident Evil lore, Crimson Heads are a bit weird. I personally have come to see them as like the interim between zombies and lickers. Lickers, a lot of people don't know this, is me being a Resident Evil nerd. What's this now? Today, Sir Spencer, who was still living here at the time, told me to hide something. Where no one can find it. Yeah, hang on, what's this? See, this is classic Umbrella logic. You need to hide something. You've already hidden a key by disguising it as a coin. And where should you hide it? You'll find a vicious dog and tie it to its collar. No one will be able to get it then. Can you get it? Can you get the key that's tied around the neck of a vicious dog that lives on the 2nd floor of a balcony? So even before things went to shit, you've got wild, vicious animals that can climb walls. Before Umbrella arrived, and you're going to summon. Okay, yeah, this is. At this point, you deserve to be killed by viruses and zombies. You're just going about it the Umbrella way. But yes, lickers. If you look really hardcore into Resident Evil lore and some deleted files in Outbreak, you can find that lickers are like zombies that have been hit with like another dose of the T virus or continue to mutate, which is why you only get lickers where there are zombies, and in controlled environments like this, where there's like one outbreak. What was shining on that table? Did I need it? Okay, back in. Then you don't get lickers, but in something like Raccoon Cities, where they first appeared. Oh, no knob! No knob! Oh well, we got a dog whistle, we're good. Yeah, I got really into this when looking at the plot analysis thing. But in Resident Evil Outbreak, there's one bit where like a Crimson Head woman sort of attacks you from the vents, and she's kind of like in the middle of mutating. And when you look at that, Crimson Heads are zombies that have mutated due to trauma, and the lickers are basically an advanced version of that. And the Crimson Heads with their big red claws and their sort of red faces and their huge teeth, they do look kind of like zombies midway between Licker. So I've always just assumed that, yeah, they are proof of the theory that... Where am I going? Oh, that balcony. That the Lickers mutate from zombies. But yeah, Lickers in some games are hardcore terror, like almost boss characters, and in some games they're just you gun down waves and waves of them and never even think about it. I think the hardest Lickers are in the RE2 and RE3 remakes, as we'll see, because those things just home in on you. They're way faster than you. They can get you with their tongues, with their claws. They can climb up walls. They can go through vents and surprise you after you've gone into a different room. They are hardcore. RE2 original, they're hardcore, but you can manage. They're like the hunters in RE1. They can kill you with one hit, but you can manage them. Are we going to die here? Because these dogs can take a turn. Okay, so wait for it to turn around. Brilliant. In the old games, the dogs would go down and be knocked down by handgun bullets, but in these games, they just kind of take it like... Gotcha. Down, boy. Yeah, no, they were hardcore in the originals, but in Resident Evil 2, they were backed up by some incredibly good sound design. You just walk into a room and you just hear that kind of in the background, or that sort of where they were moving around, and you wouldn't know where it was, but you know it was there, and it was very effective and very scary. So this is how Umbrella approaches security. They take a key, put it in a trap that will kill you if you take the key, make an imitation of the key, hide the key in a coin, hide the coin itself in the collar of a vicious animal that only lives somehow above the ground and can only be summoned with a dog whistle, and that's how they get the key. Can you imagine working in this place? Imagine wherever your place of work or study was. And it's like, oh yeah, you want to get to class today? Oh yeah, that's fine. You just take the plant pot from the second floor and throw it at a pigeon that's been specially trained to kill you. They don't have a key for the laboratory. Well, this actually came up in the Zero stream. This whole massive multi-winged mansion with an accompanying laboratory, which was home to a staff of however many zombies there are, has one toilet. One. The one that Jill threw up in. Literally the only toilet in the mansion. And it's right on one side. So imagine the poor workforce who were like stationed on the other side. They have a shitty... They can't all queue up for that same toilet. That's just not going to happen. So don't look in the plant pots in the Spencer mansion is all I'm saying. Because the queues along that corridor, that tight little corridor with the zombies bursting through the windows, that's got the one toilet. I mean, there's no canteen here, but is there a Mexican food day? Or an Indian food day. Oh, God. Oh, wait, yeah, because Jill's got the lockpick, master of unlocking. Chris has to find old keys, which is... Part of the reason I chose Jill for this playthrough is that we're going to be spared of faff and have a bit of pacing, which would otherwise... With Resident Evil 0, there was a lot of me running around completely lost. That shouldn't happen here. I know the game much, much better. In fact, I just platinumed it recently. So I can safely say I finished this game knife only with invisible enemies, which I will have printed on my gravestone. We don't need that for now. It doesn't mean I necessarily remember it between playthroughs, but yeah, Resident Evil 1's my jam. I could draw you a map of this game from memory. No problem. That's busy. We want to... What are we doing? We've got... Take that to the other side of the mansion. We want to put that upstairs, which we are on the wrong side of the house for entirely. Zombies on stairs can't grab, they just puke on you. Or puke with disgust at how scared they are of stairs. I know I'm just dashing through the game, which I really shouldn't, I just played it so many times, but the visual design of the interiors of the mansion, and the amount of different kind of looks and feels they get from just mansion hallways is just... You know, this game, I'll be saying it more than once in the stream, it's a classic for a reason. This just looks so damn good, and it's 20 years old. I mean, looking at like the moonlight through the trees and the way the trees slowly bend, and the air and the sound design, it really is a masterclass now to do this stuff. It's why a lot of the indie game scene, which didn't even exist at the time, a lot of indie games are just let's make a game from our childhood again, and that's it. And they never really get what makes these work. I find it is rare that like an indie Zelda clone, it's got a soul, and the closest armor. Oh wait, I need the key. Where am I going? Oh right, yeah, no, I'm going around again. Yeah, a lot of them just kind of mimic stuff. I played a little bit. I intend to stream it of that Tormented Souls, I think it was called, which is a classic survival horror. It's got tank controls and fixed camera angles and everything. And it really is a case of like, here's a monster with needles all over it, throw that at the screen. Here's something that looks supernatural, throw that at the screen. Here's something that's just messy, and here's some blood dripping from the walls, and here's a scary picture. It's just generically scary imagery. Just we'll leave that. Just kind of splashed all over the camera, and it's like it's not really scary. It's a game that's about horror. It's just like a game where just horror happens. Whereas with games like this, they've got not a brilliant story. I mean, it's a perfectly good story, but it's got its own particular brand of horror. And what's even more amazing is that a lot of this game is, hey, what if all these iconic movie monsters lived in the same house together? Like, Night of the Living Dead is referenced heavily in this game. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, right there. Giant snakes, giant sharks, Jaws, they're all referenced, but for somehow, when it's done by Resident Evil, they all have their own personality. And then you've got classic Resident Evil enemies like the Hunters and the Tyrant and the Chimera in the lab, which are unique monsters to this series, living with... Oh, there's a Crimson Head! Look, he's so fast and scary, and he still plays by the same rules, so thanks for that. But he will be why we won't be taking this corridor very often, because I just can't be bothered fighting in the bloody things. But yeah, this first game, it's later Resident Evils. I'm glad they ditched the zombies. I know a lot of purists insist Resident Evil has to have zombies, but I think they really moved on when they got their own monsters. But, you remember the hunters, you remember the snake, you remember the dogs. I couldn't tell you the names of half of the big blobby flesh monsters from Resident Evils 5 and 6. It's just another combination of tentacles and... Is that the right one? Yeah. And teeth and eyeballs to shoot, and they all kind of blur into one after a while. But these are some classic designs. I've seen action figures of hunters. I've never seen action figures of... They do feel randomized. It's kind of like, okay, take a person or animal, add X amount of tentacles and eyeballs. 6 is an interesting one. I mean, 6 at least has a T-Rex that's also like a Rubik's Cube that turns into a giant bug. That's fun. But I feel like I'm shooting a lot of genericness. I mean, I intend to play through to all those games at some point. We're going in canonical order. What have we got now? 2 keys. I think if I unlock the kitchen, I can get rid of that key, and I can go and get the shotgun, which is just good for you. And I can... Oh, no. Yeah, I sound like a real kind of old man yells at clouds and says why things these days aren't as good as they were from the olden days, but there's never really been a successor to Resident Evil 2, again, massively iconic, brilliant game. It's almost like its own icon at this point. You think Resident Evil, you think the dog scare, the mansion, Chris and Jill, the tyrant, and you think Resident Evil 2, and you think Police Station, Leon, Claire, Lickers, G. Birkin, and they're equally iconic, but it's almost like Resident Evil 2 is kind of its own franchise, in a way. You get those awful CGI movies with Leon Kennedy, and sometimes Claire pops up and they reference 2, and it's like, that's for the RE2 fans. Yeah, yes, I mean, it's true, the better graphics get, the less of a soul games have. I mean, I'm getting Far Cry 6 tomorrow, probably going to be streaming that with Julie, and I'm looking at it, and it looks great, it looks gorgeous, and it looks fun, and I'll have the same fun I always do, but it does look like another Far Cry. I know what I'm going to be doing. I know how I'm going to be playing it. I know how it's going to roll. And Ubisoft's, they're big on this game's big villain, this game's big setting. You're the revolution. You're fighting the fascism or whatever. But it's always the same structure. It's like, am I going to be fighting fascism by dividing the map into a bunch of zones and then liberating them one by destroying outposts? I think I bloody am. And yeah, I've been watching playthroughs, and they're really good at it. I mean, you get off your fucking face. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, it's like the story and the soul and the characters and the heart are just kind of painted over the same old formula. And to be fair, Resident Evil got like that. I mean, Code Veronica was really the game that was like, we can't just keep doing the whole the same shtick again. It's beginning to feel the same. I remember when the first Hunter appears in Code Veronica, and it's not scary at all. It feels like it should have a studio audience applauding. It's like, hey, it's that famous character from Resident Evil we like making his appearance. It's like, I'm not scared of this. Even though the Hunters in that game are some of the hardest core in the series, it's just like, yeah, I know what they're going to be doing. We know the lay of the land by now. We know when we pick up that key item and turn around, something's probably going to come through the window. We know how this rolls. We needed Resident Evil 6 to come along and shake things up. Okay. But back around the time of this one, when the series still had so much to give, I mean, even Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the original Nemesis, is great, but anything great or classic or iconic in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis outside of Nemesis? There's not really anything there. It's just more zombies, more hunters, more key puzzles. The rules were a bit too set to be scary. Which is kind of the irony of when people say modern horror games aren't scary, and then when they make them different and scary, they complain that they're not proper horror games anymore. I know there's a hardcore contingent of people who hate Resident Evil 4 onwards, because they go, it's not true survival horror because you've got plenty of ammo. I run out of ammo in Resident Evil 4 all the time. And it's like, well, I'll probably have a point in this game where I stop picking up handgun ammo just because I've got so bloody much of it I can't carry it anymore. And yeah, it's not that it's not true survival horror. It just changed, and there's a contingent who just can't accept that if it's not exactly as it always was, it's not the true version of what it is. And yes, stuff was lost, and yes, there is great stuff in these games that didn't necessarily have to go away. I think if you look at games like Revelations or even the Resident Evil 2 remake, they capture a lot of what made this work without bringing back the fixed camera angles and the controls and this bloody door opening animation sequence. I apologise for making anybody watching this video sit through. It can be done, and I think 5 and 6 definitely went way into the action area. Oh, this one. Can I open this door to the crow puzzle with this key, or is it another key? I think it's this key. Or we'll find out. Yeah, this isn't necessarily a happy medium as much as the pinnacle of the old school survival horror classic version of Resident Evil. Yes, I don't stream on YouTube. Well, I've currently got a YouTube channel. I'm looking into sort of simul streaming, but Julie Madly Deeply, who knows far more than I do about this, said it's not always the best thing to do. I should link the YouTube channel, actually. That's a good point. I'm not tech savvy at all. I really haven't figured this stuff out, but I will link or put in the description of something about the YouTube if I can. Hang on. Purple crown, no, green crown, purple necklace, orange armband. No, don't. Green crown, purple necklace, orange armband. This is bracelet, so... Oh, orange bracelet. No, that's not right. Sorry, we're right with you. Purple. Yeah, purple necklace and crown. Green. Yeah, I still don't really know what the Nightbot is. It's like an automated mod thing, right? But then the other day, one of Julie's streams, the Nightbot started talking to orange? No, white. To a person like it was a person. I'm like, what's Nightbot? Is Nightbot a person? Because I don't even have social media. I get lost in computers. I'm a proper old man with that kind of thing. Julie's got the tech savvy. I think that's right. Yeah, well, if this goes wrong, we can play with the birdies. You can log into there. Okay. I don't know commands yet. I'm learning so much of this, because I'm not just learning how to Twitch, I'm also kind of learning the basics of computers. Because, again, at the risk of sounding like a proper old man, when I was a lad, when I was at school, our computer classes were open up Windows 95, and hey, if you press this thing where you've got like a blank sheet of paper and you type a letter on the keyboard, that letter comes up on screen. Wow. That was it. That was as far as we got. I specifically remember, because my school wasn't very good, we got to the computer exam, and the computer exam was literally type this and press the print button. It will be printed, that's your exam. And the teacher just got exasperated and just ran around the class just pressing the buttons on everybody's computer, doing the exam for them. and because that's the only way that the school could get a good enough pass rate to keep its kind of credibility. So the teachers ended up just cheating and getting us a lot of the results in the exam. The nun who taught us maths, who was psychotic about not having any of her students fail, had a little breakdown in the final maths exam for the GCSEs, and just ran around the examination hall, just grabbing people's papers and filling in anything they hadn't filled in themselves, and just doing it for them, just so they'd all get C's. I think that's the only reason I passed maths. Inner city Catholic schools. She was a fucking terrifying woman. When they talk about scary non-school teachers, she was up there. I mean, this was like an inner city London school. Like, you know, these kids had knives. One of the teachers was expelled for nailing a teacher's hand to the wall because he pissed him off in technology. And this woman scared them. I mean, that's how scary this nun was. Yeah, she came from this very tense place. Jesus Christ, we heard a lot about him in the Catholic school. At the upshot, though, I passed GCSE maths, which I likely wouldn't have done otherwise. So, there's that. And yeah, so I didn't really pass technology. Oh, I should have picked up I'll pick up the stone later. I am gunning for the good ending. I think we want to see... No one else how you did it. I mean, to be honest, you get to my age, and if anybody asks you for your school results, it's like, bitch, I'm nearly 40. Come on, who cares? Don't get me started on the education system. As you may have guessed from this stream, I have a tendency to ramble. Can I open this yet? Yes. We'll come back to that later. I just want to use the key as much as possible, so stop whining back there. So I can get rid of them and free up my pockets. I think Jill's arse has 3 bruises on it now. She's fallen on it 3 times. She's still walking quite well, though. That's a well-padded arse. But yeah, so when it comes to doing all the computer techie stuff for Twitch, I'm learning the basics of computers and the basics of Twitch. Yeah, I honestly have no idea what that would entail. I don't know what chats and ad commands even do, really. All I know is I play the video games and then words appear on screen, and that's lovely. Yeah, shoot, I'm still learning. When I watch Twitch, I know a lot of people happen on other people's Twitches, and I'm just like, I don't know what happened there, but it was super cool. And this cutscene always catches me unawares. It's so old, it was in the original, but I'm always like, wait, what? My friend told me this was he said it was the T-virus itself coming through the door. I was like, holy shit, it's the final boss. And when I played the original at his house for the first time, it's like, psych. It's not the T-virus, it's just another zombie. Never mind, I'll escape this way. Yeah, I don't know what commands even really do, to be honest. I'm such a noob. I mean, I'm still kind of bowled over by the fact that I can, like, play games online with people and we can all be... Oh, God, he's back up again. And we can all be part of the same game. Alright, that'll work. And that was right in the camera as well, so it's right in my headphones. That was an exploding watermelon in the air. Oh, okay, can I go? No. Okay, that sounds cool. I guess it's the kind of thing where you type in the chat box like slash something, or backslash this, backslash that, and that works. I would like to ban the spam bots. Not too much of an issue. I mean, the worst we've had so far is Nightbot, and that's probably not really a spam bot kind of thing. But yeah, I'm not really big enough for these people to pay attention to me right now. But when I am the biggest streamer on Twitch, obviously, then that's probably going to be something I need quite badly. Yeah, if you know how to do that, then you're clearly way more tech savvy than me. I'm an analog kind of guy. Where am I going? Oh, the thing's down there. See, you know I'm confused when yeah, Shrek, you're with the tech. That swamp of yours gets some seriously good internet connection, I tell you. What? There wasn't a zombie out there. What are you doing? No, you. Oh wait, what? You don't make sense, zombie. There were dogs out there. Well, there were dogs out there. I killed them, but there were no zombies. And you keep vomiting. I mean, if he's had his lunch and there's no toilet around here, then you'd be vomiting too. We are about as far as it's possible to get from the nearest toilet. And I didn't bring the chemical for the plant, for the other mask, did I? I've done a fuck up. So we're not speed running at this point. Let's just accept this will not be a speed run record. Oh, walk the dog, sweet. Yeah, go walk, Fido. Yeah, thanks for your advice though, Shrek. I'm sure Julie will be up for that too. She will undoubtedly understand more of the tech than I do. I say she's the brains of the operation here. I'm not even ready to look. So I'm also there. I'm the box mover. Oh, you're leaving on an iconic moment. Itchy Tasty. Again, minor Resident Evil trivia. Until the HD remake, it was Scott and Alias. Until somebody, after 20 years, informed someone at Capcom that Alias isn't a name. So it was changed to Elias for this, which is a name. Don't tell her. I mean, I don't think Julie's going to be watching this stream. I think she's at work today. So yeah, this conversation stage just between you, me, and the millions of people who watch on YouTube. Obviously, we're going to get Ninja's audience. Steve's a big winner. He's a scumbag. I could pretty much recite this from memory, I think. I'm assuming the skinned gorilla creature is a hunter, but it doesn't really fit that description. Yeah, see you in a bit, Shrek. I'm going to be around for another hour and change. But don't give the dog a short walk for me. Give him a good workout. Doggos, they need their exercise. We'll be here talking about skinned gorillas and live animals. Itchy Tasty, my friends. Let's get to the good bit. Itchy Tasty. Itchy Tasty. Now nothing bad can happen. Something bad happened. Wasn't really much I could do there. And had I tried to run away, we would have found that a very devious game designer at Capcom had placed another zombie in front of the door. There's a lot of that in this game. There's very carefully placed enemies so that whatever the game designers know you're going to take as an escape route, they've cut you off. They've cut you off. Still, never mind. We found the iconic Itchy Tasty book, and I know I just breezed past it to get to the good stuff, but it's a very well-written account of a man slowly sinking into zombiehood until all you can say is just the words tasty and itchy. Which was also the title of the book by Alex O'Neill, who was a big fan of the Resident Evil community and wrote a book about Resident Evil history and called it Itchy Tasty because even casual Resident Evil fans will get the reference. If you hear the words Itchy Tasty, someone's talking about Resident Evil. So we'll shove the crystal up the tiger. Still need to get the chemical. These corridors are they're so claustrophobic. I mean, if you come across a zombie in these corridors, you're a little bit screwed because you either have to kill them, you can maneuver around them, but it's very tricky in these tight spaces. A few times in life, because a lot of my previous jobs have taken me to very old buildings and sort of a lot of central London Victorian theatres and some historical areas which actually are built like this. And any time I'm in a corridor that's decorated in very plush, posh wallpaper that is literally like this wide, not this wide, but like so wide that you can't move more than this without hitting a wall, I always get Spencer Mansion vibes. And a lot of old buildings, I mean, one of the areas with this game is a little more realistic than I might get credit for, is that they genuinely are laid out in these twisty, turny, labyrinthian patterns that you just can't get your head around. It's like being lost in a maze. Your brain just can't accept it. So playing this game is actually like the comforting feeling of being back at the work in London West End Theatre as I was years ago. Right down to this shuffling brain-dead zombies for the audience. I've been rabbiting on so long. Resident Evil is one of those things I just... Oh my good lord! Fixed camera angles, screw them. Actually, can I get my knife back, please? I want that. Julie, you mute Julie. You have no sound, so you can't hear me say hi. But hi, Julie. Thanks for tuning in. You just missed Shrek. You can't hear me, but Shrek's off to walk the dog. E-wave. Yeah, so Julie will... Now I'm at the difficult position of trying to play Resident Evil in an entertaining way. I don't know if anyone's ever played games for an audience before, but it's surprisingly tricky because suddenly you feel like you can't take the slow, methodical approach and you have to make it all action and all excitement. And in a game which is 30% doors opening and 30% inventory screens, that can be surprisingly tricky. So this is going to be what we call a slow burn. It's like one of those horror movies that starts off with just people talking bollocks and then all the action happens at the end. Yeah. If it was a battle royale or something, this would be when I'd be running headfirst into fights, risking life and limb, because that's better television. Again, look at this zombie shadow. We can't see out the window, but we can see this zombie shadow. And this is just incredibly good visual design, which runs through the whole game. And that wasn't in the original. The original PS1 game couldn't do real shadows. I mean, that was back in the era when shadows were a little black circle under things. This game does make some genuine improvements to the formula. This isn't an improvement. In the original, you just put the chemical in, turn it on, and it would kill this plant. In this game, you've got an extra little puzzle where you've got to decide which way to pump the water. But you just pump the water toward the plant to kill the plant. That's not a puzzle, that's just doing the only logical thing. It's just another step of path. You can pump it the other way, which kills the green herbs, which isn't good, obviously. So it's not like there's no consequence to getting it wrong, but it's just like, no one's going to have trouble working this out. It's just, you want to kill the plant, so pump poison at plants. It would be weird. I mean, maybe someone's going to think, well, that can't be that obvious. No, I'll do the other thing and I'll head them off. No, it is that obvious. Some of the puzzles in this game have been remixed from the original very well. Some of them just had extra layers of faff dropped in them, and that was faff. That was faff. Window scare, not a dog scare, but still scary. Let's go back to the item box. See, when we come back this way, the zombies will have carefully rearranged themselves to be the worst possible places, so there'll be one on that corridor I was heading down. We can just go around the other way, though. Alright, so... Yeah, you know when certain people get talking about subjects they really like, and that really kind of... Then they can't stop talking? If you've ever met someone who's very quiet and reserved, but then you engage them about one of their interests, and suddenly they light up. That's me with Resident Evil. That's why I can just keep rabbiting on and on and on and on and on. And as a massive Resident Evil nerd, I've picked up a lot of trivia and sometimes rumours and just nonsense over the years. So I will be rabbiting a mile a minute. Bye! And just extolling the virtues of Resident Evil. Can we go out here? Are there zombies out here now? Another first for this game, Jill Valentine's face, not very visible in shot, is modelled after actress Julia Voth, which was not a common practice back in the GameCube days to actually just scan an actress's face in for a character. Chris Redfield, weirdly, has not got a face model at all. He's just, I think he's like a portmanteau of a bunch of faces, so he looks like a little generically handsome guy. But Jill Valentine actually has a real face, a face which reoccurred many, many times. And I would say, you know, Sasha Zatova's face in Resident Evil 3 Remake was lovely, but Julia Voth is definitely the iconic look for Jill. You're thinking of Jill Valentine in Resident Evil, you're probably thinking of this face. It came up... This model was used a lot in the Chronicles games. They recycled the model in Resident Evil 5. They used Julia Voth's face again. It's recognisably her.
Jill, don't scare me.
Speak for yourself,
You couldn't hear her coming before that.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, well...
What do you mean, what's he doing here? There's no reason to be suspicious at this point.
I warn you, though. It's not pretty.
It's forest. only seen the scene once or twice. Normally I trigger Barry in the shotgun room.
What could have done this to him?
God only knows, but...
Well, I
we'll
mean,
find out
you've
what
seen
did this
plenty of zombies, Jill. It's not really a mystery
Jill,
at this point.
Did you investigate other areas?
Yeah, sure.
Jill, this is no longer useful to Forrest. We don't know what's going to happen. Take it with you.
That was another cutscene that's far better than the 20-year-old GameCube cutscene really has any right to look.
I still can't believe it.
Holding that grenade launcher nice and professionally there.
Barry.
I still can't believe it.
Really? We've given you a good few seconds to come to terms with it. So, like when we left Barry with the blood puddle at the beginning, you just kind of get the impression that as soon as you walk away, he's just going to start, like, nibbling at the corpse or something. I don't think he's a zombie. I think Barry just has, like, a thing. We just leave him alone with dead bodies a lot. I saw him drink that blood that one time. All right, Barry, we'll just leave you to it. You know, waste not, want not. Just enjoy a rare look of the outside of the Spencer Mansion down there. And it does have a fence. It does have a fence around the sides. Actually, no, this isn't the sides, is it? This is the front facing, so... This is the front balcony. We would have run in over there to the door, the front door over there. Meaning that the stars should have gone past the fence when they were running away from the dogs. Unless it's broken in a very particular area, but a viral outbreak and some big monsters don't generally lead to structural damage. We may have found ourselves a genuinely brand new Resident Evil continuity error. Live on this channel, so that's exciting. Where am I going? I can't remember. I'll put this mask in, and then stare meaningfully at that key I'm holding and try to remember where the hell I'm supposed to go next. It's not time to go up to the yawn, is it? Do you know what? You're just in the way too much, and I've got all these bullets. Thus solving the problem once and for all. Yep, I don't see any negative repercussions to that coming later down the line. Oh no. Do we need to go and talk to Richard? Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. So, I think the door to Richard. Oh, the armors, the suits of armor, the sliding armor puzzle. When they stand still and just lurking in the background, they're so creepy. You get the fear factor of stillness, just turning around and just seeing that figure just there watching and slowly starting to shamble towards you. It's really hard to pull off horror-wise, but this game just nails it. Most games would just throw a zombie at the screen and have it make noise or smash through a window and jump scare you, but this is a game that knows how to do quietness and make that scary. We still need this key. Do we want Richard's shotgun?
Richard! What happened?
Have a nice healing
You're
wall.
wounded.
Really?
This whole place is a killing zone.
Oh, man up, Richard.
There are monsters.
Yeah?
What did this to you?
A big snake. And it had to be poisonous.
Poisonous? Richard, hold on.
Again, slightly nerfed over the original's iconically bad version of this thing.
But didn't bring any.
I'll go and get it, okay? You're gonna make it.
Thanks.
So one of the minor disconnects between Jill Valentine, or player character, and reality in this game is that she's always going, what could have done this? What did this? There's monsters? And it's like... can I... No, I was hoping it would say, you can discard this key now, but it didn't. So, what have I forgotten? Alright, I'll try one solution. I think it's like one of these top ones. I think it's top right, bottom left, bottom right. If you don't get it right the first time, it can take days, but because I had to speedrun this game for the Platinum Trophy. Please be the right one. Yes! Yeah, so that's basically the know the answer already solution to that puzzle. I'm not really, like, risking Richard. There's a time limit before Richard just dies, but it's quite generous, I think. And of course, time stops. On the plate it says sunshine will awaken me. Sunshine is the one with 2 hearts in, so press. No, just once. Press that. Oh, it lit up. Press the other sunlight button. Oh, look, we lit up the siren and that was the solution. Yep. Good. Yeah, Richard in the original Resident Evil is one of the worst voice actors of a very bad crop, and he's just really good. I just remember lines like, "It was a giant snake, and also poisonous." That's not English, dude. Who wrote this? The weird thing is, I mean, the voice actors from Resident Evil 1 have gone down as sort of being iconically bad. They're actually, like, talented professional actors. They were just given a script that was very poorly translated into English at an era when you were basically given these poorly translated scripts and told to do them word for word. Oh, you bloody fixed camera angles. Do you know what? No, I want my knife back. That I would like. Oh, I didn't blow his head off. Well, keep the bloody knife then. Fine, I'll get my own knife with blackjack and hookers. Yeah, knife, and you stupid knife anyway. The thing I left behind in that room earlier was the lighter, wasn't it? I just remembered. Apologies to any Resident Evil speedrunners watching this. You must be just like crying at this point with my inane rambling journey through the mansion. Richard very kindly, before he passed out from poison, marked our map somehow with where the serum is. Again, not any particular kind of chemical or counter venom or anything important like that, just a big bottle with serum written on it. This is the level of science we do here at Umbrella. Let's go do science on Richard. Is the way we came the quickest way back? I think it is, isn't it? Must also leave with the MO disc if we want the good ending. And yoink! Couldn't do that on the GameCube. HD bitches! Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah. It's so nice to play a game with sensible controls and like good pacing after RE0. Don't have to take Billy the Mullet around, or don't have to control the idiot, or don't have to juggle items or leave them all over the floor like a teenager. It's just good horror gaming with admittedly a bit too much faff. It's weird that a lot of the reasons I consider this an only okay remake are the exact opposite to a lot of the reasons I consider Resident Evil 2 an only okay remake. In that they just... This one didn't change quite enough. The fixed camera angles and the tank controls, while a big part of the original game, were kind of considered antiquated even when this game first came out. Seeing the HD version, it's like, yeah, the modernized controls are a good effort, but it's not
Here,
quite
Richard,
enough.
I'm gonna give you a shot. Hang in there.
I'll give you a shot from a bottle. What are you going to do, bean him with it?
Jill, here's my radio. Take it.
It's never explained why Jill wasn't issued a walkie-talkie. I mean, we can presume she lost it in the scramble, but...
Does it ever not hurt?
Nope. And now we're going to give him a nice therapeutic kick in the balls. Well, that arm is messed
I'm
up.
okay. The others,
So heroic. I need a lighter, don't I? Which means over here. Yeah, way back at the beginning when we were walking out of the study and I saw something shining and was like, do we need that? Yes, we do. It was the lighter. So... yoink! Master of Zom dodging. Yoink! Oh, he's not turned into a crimson head. That's a bit of luck. I wouldn't count on being so lucky a second time. Here we... there. Lighter of lighter. Again, like in RE0, a lot of this stuff wasn't designed to be seen in HD, so doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Yep, Lighter of Lighter from Y.N. Knudsen since 1985. Some artists genuinely went to the effort to put markings on this just in case somebody like me would examine it, and they chose to write the words Lighter of Lighter. Words are cut. Don't play with fire. Love Jessica. That's not carved onto it anywhere. It says Lighter of Lighter. Love Jessica. That'll come up later. I'm guessing these are supposed to be the words. Don't play with fire. From Jessica. Remember the name Jessica. This may come up in future files. That was me hinting it's going to come up in future files. In fact, one of the main additions to this game over the original version, and possibly the scariest part of this game, not necessarily in what happens, but just in like terms of story and sort of the drama of it. Sleepy boy. Yeah. Also, one of the new bosses, two of the new bosses, are connected to that particular arc, which it looks like the new film, which I have no real interest in watching, is taking as its inspiration. Is the whole Jessica? Well, I won't spoil anything. There's always going to. We all know zombies can't do stairs. You're like Daleks. You down? Nope. Dude, seriously? There you go. Up. No, he's down. This is another one of those backdrops that's clearly not quite scaled up to HD too well. They're a bit fuzzy. It really works in this game's favour. It was never polished up to 4K because it would only polish up the 3D objects to 4K and they would be even more divorced from the backgrounds. I am going through handgun bullets a little wantonly. This is what we need the lighter for. Now we can see. It's quite annoying. I think it's just the key item in this room. When you try to pick it up with the lights out, Jill kind of goes, "Oh, I can't see." But if you try to pick up anything else, she's like, "Yeah, we'll have that. More bullets. Yeah, we'll take those." I guess the girl can smell handgun bullets at this point. That zombie growl with these headphones on is petrifying. I mean, as much as I've ragged on how there's a lot of elements of this game which are outdated and needed to go away, if Capcom were to announce another Resident Evil, not necessarily a mainline one, like a side spin-off or this Resident Evil Outrage thing for the Switch, which still hasn't been officially revealed or confirmed, and they were just to go back and do something like this, not like forever, just like a one-off experiment, I think enough time's passed now that I would dig it. Again, not joining the ranks of people that insist it goes back to technology from 20 years ago. We're just leaving Richard here, by the way. That's we gave him the serum. We're going to leave him exposed, presumably unarmed and unguarded and unconscious in enemy territory. That's how Jill Valentine rolls. So this we take to the other side of the mansion. This we don't need, I think, ever again. And that we can drop in its spot. Sorry, I thought out loud and I forgot what I was saying. Nice. Okay, I'm with it so far. I'm split focus between rambling inanely at you, the viewer, and actually playing the game. But like I said earlier in the stream, I've got the Platinum Trophy for this game. The other zombies the zombie didn't turn into a Crimson Head for some ungodly reason. This particular zombie just evaporates like a sensible zombie. So that's nice. And the fat boy there's behind the fence, so good, good. I'll do this one without all. Again, these tombstones are either written in Russian or the writing on them is not designed to be read because the game isn't designed to be in HD. For all the work they put into the HD version of this game, it would have been very nice if they'd updated those assets so that they didn't look so clearly like no one intended to see them. It was the same in RE0 when you'd examine certain items and it would be like, the tag says this! And it's like, no, the tag doesn't say that, I can read it now, it just says nothing. Going this way. Another weird trope of Resident Evil is that women never carry lighters. All the men carry lighters, women never carry lighters and have to find lighters, and men can't play piano, but women can play piano. Because what we're about to do, and that reminds me actually to pick up the crest, is a puzzle where... you'll see in a second, you'll see in a second. Again, look at this shot with the glass in the foreground, and I could extol the beauty of this game all day long, and I haven't got that long to stream, so I'm not going to extol the beauty of this game all day long. This is something you can pick up right at the beginning of the game and spend ages wondering why the hell you're carrying around this useless thing. I just realised I'm not going to be able to pick up the other piece of the musical. Again, this is what we call faff. This is the kind of faff that you would take away from a remake, but I'm going to pick up the other half of the musical score. I haven't got any pocket space, and what I'm supposed to do is have both pieces and combine them into one. However, if you have one piece and you pick up the other, you can't just combine it with the other one. You have to pick up the other one, put it in your pocket, then combine them. That's Resident Evil faff. This is the kind of stuff a remake should have cut the hell out. Even Zero let you use and combine things just from the floor without picking them up. And when Zero is less faffy than you, then you've really done a fuck up. Now that guy on the floor, I think, will pop into a Crimson. So I know from experience you can incinerate him. So, don't need you. I can't remember what I'm supposed to use this. What I forgot to use that key for. I'm also going to be daring and go healthless. It's okay to go healthless in small bursts because you'll just find more health, and if your pockets are full, you can't take it. But if you, what's this pillar for? I mean, who designed the mansion that you needed one structural support right here in this one corridor with zero clearance space, but everywhere else is completely fine? If any architects are watching either now or the archive footage, please try to explain to me in the comments what you would need one particular structural support there for. It's always baffled me, that pillar. It doesn't even really serve any use in game. I can only assume that George Trevor, the architect, who comes up a lot later in the game, was just really bad at his job. No, not today, Mr. Zombie. We are not at home to you today. Snoot, snoot. It's that picture again. The completion. Which mansion? The mansion in Germany. Oh, that's a blurry background there. This one hasn't upscaled very well at all. It works better for this game than for Zero. Zero just looks like a blurry game in parts that hasn't polished up too well. This game, everything has a kind of dreamlike quality. Right. And because Jill and all women in RE are piano virtuosos, we're going to start to play a nice, monster-attracting bit of classical music in the middle of an apocalypse. And again, when people cite these games as true survival horror, and it's like, and Resident Evil 4 is not. Resident Evil 4, I've got my back to a wall and I'm shooting the windows out and I'm trying to climb upstairs and avoid the mobs and survive. Resident Evil 1, the true survival horror, I'm going into an open grave within 5 minutes of landing in a zombie apocalypse just because it's open, and playing the piano in the middle of an apocalypse, a very localized zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing these things to survive. It's the classic puzzle. You take the thing you want, but it closes the door, which is why we picked up the crest, the fake crest. And yes, you do have to watch an unskippable door opening, door closing, door opening animation every single time. This is a new edition. This is good story. 1967. Why it would still be lying there 40 odd years later? No, don't. No, don't ask questions. Guy doesn't have coat, bought me Amiga food. It's for security reasons. That's when it all hit me. Sir Spencer will be the only one who knows. Sir Spencer being the kind of behind-the-scenes uber villain of the Resident Evil series until he suddenly wasn't. George, your family are not all right. The favourite lighter, the one Jessica gave him. A lighter with an engraving from a Jessica on it. We found that. Again, someone found it and kept it for 40 years. Again, a classic case of what we spoke before. People writing their diaries and memoirs as they would speak. You don't write something and write something and write something and then remember something and write, but wait, comma, now I remember, comma, this. You just write the thing you remember. So the man responsible for all the booby traps, which the tiger eyes and the gold emblem kind of weren't, has to try to remember to get out. This is real world building stuff, and what I do like, you can't really see it at these angles, the greenhouse where we killed the plant with the poison is on the other side there, and you can see, if you're in there, you can see through to this room, and it's just a nice little bit of connectivity to the mansion. Don't recall if that was there in the original. I'm not nearly as familiar with the original Resident Evil as I am with the remake. So we now have a gold emblem, that's right. No. We are not at home. I heard the musical sting that accompanies a zombie bursting through a door as I left, and I think that meant that zombie's going to be in that corridor now. I just noticed those candlesticks are about to fall over. Look at those. Or this one here, it's lilting over. Welcome back, Shrek. I hope your dog got a good walk. I think Julie's lurking silently in the comments somewhere. And you honestly, you missed a lot of faff, and now you're here for the good stuff. So we're about to... Big pointy thing head, small stabby thing body. That's a lovely image to have by your dining hall, isn't it? Nice. Eat up, Umbrella employees. It also occurs to me we actually have a dining hall, which is where employees presumably ate, but no visible kitchen. Guess it's very much a bring your own sandwiches sort of workplace. So it was big pointy thing through the head, small stabby thing in the body, wasn't it? So turn one gear. No, that was where it should have been. No. Wrong way. Hey, Resident Evil Jesse, what's happening? Welcome to the Resident Evil stream. The complete Resident Evil stream. What am I pressing anymore? Yes, that's what I did a fuck up. We will be streaming the entire series. Wait, small, which... Yes, okay, I'm undoing my own fuck-ups at this point. As I've pledged to stream Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1... Hang on, this thing. I need to get the little one through the body, so I need to turn the large gear twice. Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 1, RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake, RE4, RE Revelations 1, RE 5, RE Revelations 2, RE 6, 7, and 8. And that was right? Yes. So far I've done one of those games, but I'll get there. There will be a link to the YouTube channel at some point as well. I'm just figuring it out with my my technical advisors, Shrek and Julie, who are far more proficient at this than I am. What have I got to unlock with this mention key? I've forgotten something. Can't be something vital. It's not that one. It's not that one. Nope. Oh, it's that one on the balcony over there, isn't it? In which case... we'll do that now. I want to get rid of that bloody key. Oh, right, yes, I remember where we are. I'm honestly not sure which is the more entertaining thing to watch. Is it me bumbling around in Resident Evil 0 trying to remember it? Oh, see you later, Julie. Busy professional girl, we know you are. Julie_madly_deeply is also a very good channel. She plays very, very different games to what I do. Just no, go away. A hallmark of the Resident Evil remakes is that zombies can take a hell of a lot of punishment. But it's always a cool moment when the zombie's bearing down on you and you're blasting away and you just have no idea if it's going to go down before you do. I'm on the wrong side of the house, aren't I? Yes. So again, apologies to any speedrunners who are watching and just tearing their hair out. Oh, you... Fixed camera angles, they suck a lot of dick. Down. Who's moaning now? There you go, have one. I'm at that point where I'm just kind of stabbing zombies in the head regardless. I've lost track of how many knives I've got. A lot of playthroughs of Resident Evil 1 go a similar way. So, next up is... I want to burn through all these keys. I know the shield key... Shield key? Well, helmet key only has one use. I just want to free up my damn pockets. Okay, it's worth running through the lobby as much as possible. Just because it looks so damn good. The amount of work that's gone into the design of this with the lighting and everything. I mean, I've looked into a bit of lighting design since because of a background in theatre. And just seeing how clever it is when where they choose to place the candles and the light bulbs. And, oh god, okay, yep, crimson, and then a regular. Oh, I've never seen crimsons attack other zombies before. It was very impressive back then. I mean, these were pre-rendered backdrops, and looking at the original, even the pre-rendered backdrops are kind of rudimentary in that first game. But just the fact that they made a game look this good at all. Yes, thank you, got rid of the damn thing. I mean, a part of the reason this game looks so good is because far better than other GameCube games, including Resident Evil 4, which hasn't aged nearly as well as much as I love it, is that pre-rendered backdrops just look better than the console can look, and you can put all the budget into 3D assets, and these games age better. There are very few PS1 games I'd want to play these days. They don't hold up well at all. Oh, story. Again, these are good. They're written in a way that people don't write, as I spoke of before, but it really lets you know that people worked here, which boosts the kind of relatability of it. Even though they're terrible, terrible Umbrella people. How many spaces have I got now? No. Well, actually, yeah, I can take more, can't I? But the subtle detail in this game, which I'm probably completely destroying by streaming it and not letting people... No. Oh, actually. It's it really is a masterclass in just making atmospheric, absorbing environments. Which, having just finished Resident Evil 0, Zero doesn't have it. Zero has got a few like letters from people that worked there, and that thing where the villain's taken to writing all their desires and objectives down on bits of paper and just leaving them all over the workplace. Oh wait, no, it's over here, isn't it? But it's really done to an art form in this game. Yes, so now if you... No, don't want it. Who wants a dead bee? Press it. Yes, there we go. Which... Oh god, okay, I've forgotten about this. But our girl Jill, she doesn't fall on her ass this time. 3 bruises on your butt, and she's learned. For now. It sounds like you just traumatized your girlfriend, Shrek. You're just... To be fair, I did buy Julie a copy of this game for her Switch, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know," and I was like, "No, I will literally buy it for you." I don't know if it scared her, but I think trying to master tank controls was a bit much of a hurdle for modern audiences to get over. But yeah, it's kind of like the video gamer's equivalent of how back in the day it was kind of de rigueur for guys to make their new girlfriends watch the Star Wars trilogy because girls didn't watch Star Wars trilogy. Now they do more. It's, you know, got to make your girlfriend play Resident Evil. Not necessarily the whole series. I mean, the plot analysis document explaining like everything from Resident Evil 0 to 5 is very, very long, and I'm not asking anyone to get into that, but if you can traumatize your girlfriend with a simple Resident Evil game, that's a good time. That's a good time. Now she's got a PS5, I might try to get Julie to play like RE2 Remake or something, which I think is going to be far more accessible. Where am I going? This way. Because generally, if you're into games at all now, you understand the whole over-the-shoulder camera thing enough. I mean, it's weird that coming from the N64 era, where any 3D game, they just hadn't established how that was done yet, so you could not be sure what the controls were to any game. You pick up Turok on the N64, and it's like you look around with a stick and you move with the C buttons, and this is fire and that's aim, and then GoldenEye is like you move with the stick and you look with the C buttons, and this is aim and that's fire, and there was just no established rule. Whereas nowadays, you pick up pretty much any game, you know that the left stick is going to move the character, the right stick is going to move the camera, aim is probably L2, fire is probably L1. You can kind of muddle through. So with Julie being more of a modern gamer, I think she'd probably get RE2 more. She plays Fortnite, so she knows the basics of shooting. Which is a good thing in terms of accessibility, but I think we've lost a degree of uniqueness in inventing new control schemes. It always baffles me that first-person shooters nowadays don't have the Resident Evil quick turn. I mean, they're the rest robotic and sort of locked into a... Oh god! Ah! Okay, have a knife. Have a knife. In fact, because you did so well, you can have a shotgun shell as well. I'm so fucking nice. No, none for you. None for you. You didn't wear crimson. You I shall ignore. Oh, hey, Richard's still alive. Huh. Honestly figured you'd be dead. I mean, you know, happy to see you and all, but... Anything to say? Just leave him alone for now. I was thinking I should just leave him alone for now. Maybe this trained professional shouldn't point a handgun directly at his dick, but that would know a bit of animation. That's another thing I miss from the PS1 games. I remember specifically in RE2, Leon or Claire would like turn their heads to look at things in the environment. Like, it could be just a corpse, you kill a zombie and walk past it, and they'd sort of... as they went by. Or you'd walk into a room and there'd be a liquor on the ceiling, and they would just... you just see them look up and you'd hear the sounds, and you couldn't see it because of the camera angle, but you know it was there. And just because, you know, the character could see things the player couldn't, so the divide wasn't quite as pronounced. It's a shame in this game that that's they're very robotically animated. Jill is always staring directly ahead, as you can see, whatever's happening. There could be a giant snake, for example, there, and if she's facing that way, she will not pay it attention. But God, there's a giant snake there! I always found Yawn to be weirdly short. Fall on your ass, fall on your ass, fall on your ass!
Payback time.
Oh, brilliant. That's what I honestly forgotten there even was a snake, and Now, to get Richard's shotgun, I do have to actually kill the snake, as I realised recently. I can't just run away. Richard, are you still... There you go, there you go. He's behind that pillar. He's hiding. There we go. That's quite gentle, actually. It's dead!
Thanks.
Once and for all! My TV's going to turn itself off for some reason.
Jill!
That was suspiciously easy. Oh no! Jill's arse! Oh, four! I mean, yeah, Richard kind of shoved her, but that's another bruise on Jill's arse. That's 4 bruises. And where am I? Yeah, I want that shotgun though, so... Can I still kill the Yawn if I... For Richard! I'll avenge Richard with 2 handgun bullets, but that's it. I mean, it's only Richard. Thanks, Richard! Okay, do you know what? In honour of Richard, we'll empty the old shotgun into the Yawn. Oh, we've killed it. Well, oh, all right. Yeah, well, that was good. We properly killed the Yawn. R.I.P. Richard. We left him resting peacefully. Maybe in retrospect, we shouldn't. But he did save our life, kind of. We are poisoned and on danger, so at least we'll buy ourselves some time. Reload, dump that, and yeah. So we need serum, as Jill's about to indicate.
Am I poisoned? I need serum.
Yes, you do. You remember where it is, Jill. Come on, let's go. Enough animating. Back to a nice, stiff, regimented walk. Oh, she's actually in the wounded position. I, again, continue to be impressed at the detail. Need serum. Richard? Again, classically creepy shot. Right down to like the minute framing of having its jaws in frame, but not its... Brilliant. I shouldn't stand around, I'm going to die. I have one of those, though. Yeah, I'd forgotten there was a snake in RE6, so it turns invisible if I recall. It's always a bit weird when like you're playing as a classic RE character and you come across like another giant snake and RE6 is like, be scared of this scary monster. I'm like, dude, I'm Chris Redfield. Even within like this particular character story, I've fought like, what, 2 or 3 of these at this point. This is not scary anymore. It's a decent boss fight, if I recall. There's something about chasing it round and around like an electric transformer or something. I don't know. I don't know Resident Evil 6 nearly as well as others, so I'll look forward to playing that on my complete playthrough right here on this channel or maybe on YouTube. He's fine. Yeah, I mean, another part of the reason I'm okay with Resident Evil having its action game phase was that they kept the same characters from the original games, and it didn't make sense for them to be in horror games anymore. Like, Chris Redfield, for example, in this game is thrown into a horror environment, so it's a horror game, but by the time of RE5, when he's roided up to fight Wesker, and he's gone through Code Veronica and Revelations, and I think fighting monsters is literally his job at this point, which is cool. But Chris and Jill don't become like survivors, they literally just take take on being in horror movies as their full-time job. You can't really try and be like, oh, zombies, be scared anymore. It's like, dude, this guy guns down zombies just like for breakfast. This is nothing. So you needed new characters if you were going to have horror, if you're going to try and sell that these people are scared of this stuff again. And yeah, that's why they're cool. They survived, and then we're like, hey, you know, we're really good at this. Let's just do it forever and save the world and basically become superheroes. And that's the whole BSAA thing. So yeah, these guys are going to be like zombie killing or Magini killing or whatever, killing badasses with all the weapons in the world and top class combat training and all that. It makes perfect sense that Chris gets all roided up in Resident Evil 5, and the last time we see him, he's getting the shit kicked out of him by Wesker, so he's training to fight Wesker. And when people are like, oh, he doesn't look realistic anymore. Well, no, he doesn't, but he doesn't look any less realistic than the sort of comic book, manga, Hollywood Resident Evil look. And yeah, I'm all for that. You couldn't have wrapped up that story in that game as anything other than an action game. And then they did get new characters, like with Ethan for Resident Evil 7. And it made sense for him to be scared because he's a complete wuss who's doing it all for the first time. Where am I going again? Right. So it tracks. I'm kind of glad that the Ethan thing's over. I think we got 2 good games out of it, but there's a kind of rhythm to Resident Evil games where they release one, like Resident Evil 1, say, and then they photocopy it until it stops being fun. I think RE2 is the only time, the original RE2, where they genuinely made it much, much better afterwards. But then RE3 is good, but it's not as good as the first 2, and then Code Veronica's kind of bad, and then this, like, it just got to the point where it's like, okay, we need to completely redo it. So they made RE4, which was great, and then 5, which was good, and then 6, which was good, and then they just kind of got, again, the same. Then they redid it again with 7, and it's like a once every 10 years they'll completely reinvent it and it'll be fine, then they'll spend the rest of the decade just photocopying the life out of it. And I think we're about due for something else now. I know it's kind of 2 series at this point. It's sort of the HD remake series. We're getting an RE4 remake, which I'm not overly enthusiastic about. Blocky looking feet there. That foot hasn't aged too well. But then there's like the mainline 7 and 8, which were first-person affairs. So you kind of go, ooh. There is a theory online that this guy is George Trevor, and that they experimented on him and then buried him in the garden. And that's why he's like so old and so such an advanced state of crimson headery. He's not dead, surely. Oh, he's got the creepy Nosferatu get up. Oh, shotgun proof, eh? I like the idea that it's George Trevor himself, the original architect who's been here since the 60s. It's kind of scarier. And he went down like a chump, so not that scary. But yeah, I genuinely don't know what I would want of a hypothetical RE9. I'm not necessarily one of these people who's like, oh, we need to see what Jill's doing, and we need to see what Claire's doing, or we'll get like Leon and Jill meeting for the first. Like, I like having original new characters and keeping the story going. I won't spoil Resident Evil 8 until we actually get there, but it does do some things at the end that's like, well, it could go this way, it could go that way. I'm not expecting a revolution. I think it will be more of the same. I just think RE8 did a pretty good job of just putting a line under what was started with RE7, as if to say, yeah, you know that thing we've been doing? Done. Done. I'm not sure they'll necessarily stick to it. They might just keep the same keep different characters and just keep going with the same style of gameplay. Or maybe they'll just like start making new Get Resident Evils like the remakes with the over-the-shoulder thing. I think RE4 remake is going to look a lot like RE2 remake. I don't think we need an RE4 remake in the slightest. I hear that dog. I hear that dog. And an RE4, its graphics are dated, but it doesn't need a remake. That game is damn good. So I'm a little about that. Still not been officially unveiled. It really bugs me they skipped over Code Veronica remake, because that game does need a remake. That was only okay to begin with. It's a strange little game. I'll probably have more to say when we get to it. And again, it's one of those ones I don't know nearly as well, because I just don't play it nearly as much, because I don't like it nearly as much. How long was it streaming for at this point? Okay, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. I try to keep these things in 2-hour chunks because they make for easier to archive YouTube videos, and there's only so much Resident Evil you can play and walk in one go before you go a bit peculiar. But we'll push ahead for now. This is another area that was added just for the remake. The original didn't have... I don't think it had any outdoor areas, apart from like the yard and things, which were very low detail. Yeah, the YouTube is just called You Know the Name, but without the underscores, and it's got the same icon of the pissing Shiba. So I'm trying to make it as connected as possible for someone who doesn't know how to do things like linking accounts and that sort of thing. I think it's just always go bottom right on this. Hang on. Yes. You're supposed to look at the dog statues and then get like the directions off there, but you can just... Oh, story.
Barry?
Monster! James! Gun! Ineffective! It's it!
Those are some very big words to use in a hurry.
Forest outside mansion. Stay! Hey!
Putting aside the fact... Oh, thanks, Shrek. I think last time I checked, I've got like one view on one video. It's not grown massively. So always good to have like one person looking at it. Just have to point out at this point, Jill was given a walkie-talkie and she never even tried to use it to contact anyone. And she forgot a literal main line to the possible outside was even there until someone called her on it. So maybe her butt deserves those 4 bruises. I'm not sure if it's 2 per cheek. It feels... We have found a few interesting plot holes in RE. If you're the kind of person to poke RE for plot holes like I am, then you're a very special kind of person who doesn't get invited to dinner parties much, like I don't. But yeah, it's just one of those weird things where the characters don't really act like normal people. Again, fantastic shot there with Alberto, just this guy here. In-game cinematography isn't really given the credit it deserves, but damn, this is effective. And seeing the woods outside the mansion, where Billy from RE0 is still presumably just plotting around somewhere. Again, this is all original remake stuff. None of this, when the original PS1 couldn't really even begin to do this level of detail, so this is good stuff, but it is some really great stuff out here. Also seems to have upscaled a bit better than some of the stuff in the mansion. This is sharp enough. I think this whole game is 1080p on the PS5. It's not had any kind of patch or boost at all. And the mist, and love it. Love every second of it. It's a cabin in the woods. So I think we'll get as far as the residence today before I need to go and be a productive member of society. This firewood looks fresh. That's an interesting little tip that something intelligent lives here. Again, world building. I like the idea that Lisa Trevor keeps the map so she doesn't get lost. Okay, this bed is unused, because there's another bed later in the game which very much isn't. I don't think I need anything from there, do I? No, not at this point. Right, yes. I've also just realised I've not saved at all this entire run. Oh, another plot hole. We can actually see down to the... Oh, she is there! I was just about to comment on the fact we can't see her come through the door, but we did. Okay. Sorry, Resident Evil. But she couldn't have teleported that far that fast, so plot hole, worst game ever, 7 out of 10. I'm genuinely impressed at that. I'd not seen that before. I was just like, we should be able to see... Oh! So I owe Capcom an apology. Didn't provide an explanation as to why Lisa Trevor knocked her out, dragged her down there, and then didn't kill her, though. That's not behaviour she shows in the rest of the game. Oh, nearly made it. Have some more. And I killed her once and for all. Bet we won't be seeing her again. That'll teach her. But Lisa Trevor's an odd one. I mean, being the only full-blown monster slash boss character who is just completely new to the remake and wasn't in the original in any way, shape or form, she kind of feels a bit like a sort of perfunctory Mr. X kind of addition at the beginning. Have I gone the wrong way? Yes, I've gone the wrong way. But just the writing around her really makes her stand out as this unique entry in the series, which really adds to the story, I find. Wrong side. But there's never really been a character quite like her again. Maybe the crazy big titty lady in Resident Evil Revelations. We'll come to that in time. Don't even get me started on her. They were kind of going for a similar, here's a real relatable woman slowly turning into a monster on screen. That's what I meant to get out of that bloody chest, the crest for... yeah. Well, I chose hard mode for a reason. We're going to go magnumless. We can take it. Maybe if I lose my bottle before Plant 42, I'll come and get it, but... it's entirely possible to play this game without the Magnum. But then, why would you when you can have a Magnum? That just makes no sense. Again, look at lovely water, lovely effects. Jill doesn't leave footprints. There are a few little tells like that let you know that the backgrounds are pre-rendered. But, I mean, let's face it, if you're nitpicking with graphics this good, then you deserve a kick in the balls. I'm fine with it. Some of the geometry is a bit angular, but it's fine. It's an older game. It's one of those games that wears its age with pride. It doesn't make it look bad, it just makes you appreciate that, wow, this really is 20 years old. Damn, that's good. Jill still hasn't thought to maybe try making a call on the radio herself.
This is Brad.
Yes, that radio, Jill.
Just give me a sign. Anything.
Jill to Brad, can you hear me? Shit, it's broken.
Richard gave you a broken radio. Tell him to call anyone. Richard just kind of gives her this thing that could be a hotline to the RPD, to the army, to even just like the rest of the stars to see if they're still alive. And she's just like, cool, thanks. Stuffs it in her pocket. Again, it's one of those things that kind of undercuts the whole survival horror aspect, because to me, oh, I can't see the dog because of my own face. Bloody hell. No, don't. Oh, you son of a... bad boy, bad boy. The dogs in this game, and Zero, can do this really annoying homing attack where they just kind of jump into the air and just kind of, like Sonic the Hedgehog, home in on you. Which is very bloody annoying. So at least Jill now has a reason for realising the radio's broken and she can't use it. Why Richard would give her a broken radio. Why Richard didn't use the radio himself. I'd love if she looked at, like, you could examine the radio and just on one side there's a little post-it that says like, haha, fuck you, from Richard. It's a shame this FMV hasn't like been upscaled nicely. That looks pretty grody, to be honest. But in all credit to them, they did upscale the really good opening FMV, and I think the ending FMV as well. Which, yeah, they're the important ones, and they do look still a bit soft, but they look good now. Remember the first I ever saw of this game? Again, because I'm so old, I had a copy of GameCube magazine, which was NGC magazine, I think it was called in the UK. And they had a GameCube demo disc on it, which just had like the opening FMV, and I think a little supercut of some gameplay images. And I watched it over and over and over again. Yeah, Feathers, you stay. Oh boy, that's an excited birdie. So I know I knew the FMV pretty much backwards the second I got the game. I've had a long history with this game when I think about it. I must have like written a movie adaptation of this in my head about 20 different times over the years. But something like 11 Resident Evil movies later, maybe it's time to just not do that. We don't need movies. Games are fine. Games are better than movies anyway. That's a good angle. And if I recall, this was the first thing I noticed about the HD remake, which tells you all about me. Jill's boobs actually jiggle now. Look at that. Boingy, 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 boingy. I remember at the time, as soon as the PS4 got the ability to capture video tech, I just put a jiggle Jill. I just like got all the costumes in the game and made like a compilation of angles like this, and just like jiggling Jill's boobs around, and put a video on YouTube under a very old, now defunct YouTube channel. I think it was called Hollywood Gaming or something, where I intended to do complete playthroughs. And there's a video online of just called on YouTube, just called Jill Valentine Boob Jiggle, which to date has got something in the region of 12,000 views. It's by far the most prolific thing I've ever put online. So, yeah, if you ever want to see that, but in all Jill's outfits, in all Jill's angles, to put Jill Valentine Boob Jiggle into YouTube, and you'll get a very amateurish. We're simple creatures. One mystery that's kept me awake at night for 20 years is I truly don't know if that's a new thing added for the HD remake, or if it was in the GameCube game and I just couldn't see it because of the fuzzier graphics. It is a very subtle effect. And given that she's almost certainly going to be wearing some kind of a sports bra or tactical undergarment under there, which she should be anyway, isn't necessarily a realistic approach. And before you ask, yes, I did test it with Rebecca, and no, hers don't move at all. She's wearing a bulletproof vest, but no. I know, right? Nerfed. No wonder Chris got roid rage. That's a great shot. I'm going to move out of. If you're an arachnophobe, and I know some people who are so scared of spiders that they literally can't play games with spiders in, that's where you turned off. And again, the animation on those is just so damn good. A lot of games have spiders in because, hey, people are scared of spiders, and then they just like throw waves and waves of that. You're like, rah. And yeah, they're gross because spiders, or they just animate like monsters. But these spiders, they move like spiders. Can I be bothered to do the whole? They're subtle, they're sneaky, and they do. I mean, when you've got a spider in your house, it rarely does anything. It just, it can often be completely still. Oh my god, freaking lord! Fixed camera angles for the win again. Good. I'll just eat this hot plant. Yeah, I mean, the spiders. Often a spider can be terrifying, can be completely still. It's just that kind of shape, you know, when you see that on the wall late at night, and it's just completely still, but you still jump out of your skin. Which apparently, I didn't know this until quite recently, is an evolutionary thing. We're evolved to see that shape and go, and be scared of it, because in caveman times, that could have meant a poisonous, venomous creature that could kill you. So, just as like an inbuilt survival instinct, that's where the fear of spiders comes from. It's not just that we're all massive pussies, or why some people aren't scared of spiders, I don't know. But this game really plays with that, and you didn't see it now, but when you kill the spiders in this game, and did later, in the early Resident Evil games, and they sort of flop on their back and do that kind of creepy leg things. It's really cool that we're like that. I mean, I see why people who get into spiders kind of want to dominate that inbuilt human fear. But it's like, yeah, that's not just us being pussies. There's a reason we're scared of a tiny animal this big that's a spider, and not of a tiny animal this big that's a hamster. So no one's terrified of, well, some people are scared of hamsters. But so I think what I'm going to do, what time are we at? 1:59. Okay, I was aiming for 2 minutes, and we're 50 seconds off. Sorry, then for 2 hours, and we're 50 seconds off 2 hours. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there for now, because I'm going to have to go to work pretty soon, and the 2 hour increments are good. So did I just save? Yes. No. I'll go and save anyway. And yeah, I'm going to try and get back, because I think I can finish this one in like one more video. I don't know if I'll go back and replay it as Chris for completeness' sake. I will definitely play Resident Evil 2 remake as both Leon and Claire, because both elements of the story I think are pretty vital. This game I would literally be making people watch me plod through the same game twice, and that's not going to be fun for anyone. Oh, I had saved. Or had I saved? No, I hadn't saved. Yes, we can now die merrily. Yep, successful. Great. So let's just end the stream by cleaning out some spiders with a shotgun. This is non-canon now. This canon run ended when we saved. This is non-canon Jill, who really hates spiders and just can't tolerate their existence. Cleaning up the pool room because she fucking loves pool. Where are you at? Where are you at? Ah! Come around here where we can see your big roast legs. Come on! I know you're there. Alright, wake him up. Yeah, hi. Ah! Come on, don't be shy. I'm over here, come on. Okay, you're really killing the fear factor now. You just look stupid. Over here. Whee! Alright. That's fine, come on. Ugh. Some sadistic Japanese bastard put some real effort into that. Where's the other one? And there's another one. Blind shot, but... Ah! Okay, yeah, running upstairs. Fine! No, get back on the... Oh, the little ones. Yeah, killed your babies in front of you. Yeah. If Barry can go licking people's blood, then Jill can get a nice spider bath. Yeah. You couldn't do this in the GameCube version, could you? You gotta have sticks for this stuff. HD remake. HD remake. Sticky Jill. Well, on that lovely note of Sticky Jill, Bert, it's probably time to end before I do something truly embarrassing for myself. But great to see you again, Shrek, and anybody else who might be watching on the YouTube or VOD. You have a great day. Take care of your doggo. I'll be back in the next day or two to polish this one off. I know I sometimes go a bit too long between videos, so I'm going to try and get back on that. It's my personal resolution. And yeah, good hanging. Good hanging. This will be on YouTube ASAP for all time. And yeah, I guess remember, winners don't do drugs. See you next time. Now.